A single meeting in the White House can change the future of an entire country without that country even being in the room. In this case, that country is Venezuela, and the signal is hiding in the tiny, smiling face on Donald Trump's lapel. On your screen is President Donald Trump in the East Room of White House wearing two pins. One is the usual American flag, the other is the cartoon version of his own face, which he calls Happy Trump pin. When a reporter asks about it during an event with the oil executives, Trump smiles. Somebody gave me this. Do you know what that is? That's called Happy Trump. He adds that he is never happy and will never be satisfied until we make America great again. The room laughs. Cameras zoom in on the pen, but those executives are not there to rate this fashion. They are there to talk about the future US control of Venezuela energy industry. To understand this meeting, you only need one system. Whenever America talks about intervention, three industries watch very carefully: oil, defense, reconstruction. Together, these three decide who wins after the crisis, not during it. Venezuela sits at the center of all three. Whenever you see this three industrial align, it usually means one thing: the decision is no longer whether to intervene, but how the post intervention world would be managed. This is the hidden rule that turns a simple news event into a powerful blueprint. So, why is Venezuela on that blueprint? It has one of the world's largest proven oil reserve, dominated by very heavy, very dense, very soggy crude. This crude is harder and more expensive to extract, but long term control over it is a strategy asset for any major power. US linked companies like Chevron, ExxonMobil, ConocoPhillips have deep interest in this oil and stand to benefit from any reconstructing after intervention. Environmental experts warn that boosting production of this heavy crude would increase pollution and accelerate climate damage. So, under that smiling cartoon face on Trump's lapel, the real subject are climate risks, corporate profits, and geopolitical leverage. Now, pause here because this is the part most people misunderstood. People usually think in terms of war or no war, but the real play looks like this. Step 1: sanction. Hit the economy first. For years, US sanctions have targeted Venezuela oil exports and financial system, helping push the country into deep economic crisis and social crisis. Step 2: crisis and narrative. As the crisis deepens, the story becomes people are suffering, the government has failed, we must step in. Humanitarian language prepares public opinion for stronger actions. Step 3: control and contracts. Only then do a meeting like this matters most, when leaders and corporations sit together to discuss how another country's key resource will be run and which companies will get long term contracts. This is the stage where headlines disappear, but money starts moving. Whoever designs the post intervention oil contracts does not just control energy, they control billions of dollars in cash flow for decades. This East Room gathering is a part of step 3. It's not about deciding whether to act in Venezuela, it's about organizing who gets what after action is taken. Now, look again at the pen because this is not just decoration, it's a tool. Trump shows a pen and says he's never happy until America is great again. The moment goes viral as a funny clip. People online compare it to bobblehead and debate where it is sold. A similar design is even listed online for around $10 and bundled with a US map flag pin. Symbols are the tool of power. When power is trapped in humor, people lower their defense. And when defenses are down, decisions pass without resistance. This is not accidental communication, it is trained political instinct. This is why small objects on the lapel can carry big messages. Joe Biden sometimes wore crossed US Ukraine pins to show alignment with the Kiwi in its war with Russia, while Barack Obama chose to stop wearing and then resumed wearing. A flag pin becomes a national argument about patriotism. So when Trump replaces the usual single symbol with his own face under the flag and does it in a room full of oil executives, he's branding a project that is bigger than a meme. Now, zoom out and compress the last 2 decades into 3 lines. In Iraq, all contract followed tanks. In Libya, all chaos followed airstrikes. In Venezuela, oil planning is happening before the first shot is fired. This is the evolution of modern power. Earlier, physical forces came first and deals were negotiated later. Today, the deals can be drafted in a conference room before any open conflict reaches the news. A map of who controls which resource can be decided in a quiet meeting long before the public sees the image of crisis. To read this East through movement like a case study, use 3 lenses. Legal lens. On paper, international law protects sovereignty and bans aggressive war. In reality, powerful states rely on sanctions, recognition games, and coalition to shape outcomes while still claiming legality. Corporate lens. This meeting tells us something uncomfortable. Foreign policy is not written only by governments, it is written with corporations sitting in the room. Oil executives at the White House are not neutral observers. They are future beneficiaries of whatever energy order emerges in Venezuela. Symbolic lens. The happy Trump pen turns hard power into soft image. A smiling cartoon sits above a discussion on who will control another nation's core asset. The symbol makes the project look lighter than it really is. So, what looks like a harmless joke is actually snapshot of how power works in 2026. A country that is not in the room is watching its future discussed thousands of kilometers away by president, his advisor, and corporative executives. If this is how power works, the real question is not whether it is right, but who gets to decide this? In the modern world, power is no longer announcement with envision. It is quietly scheduled on the calendars, written into contracts, and hidden behind smiles. By the time people start arguing about morality, the ownership has already been decided.